Welcome back. All right, today is a continuation of last class. Last class we multiplied and divided rational expressions. Today, adding and subtracting rational expressions. All right, but before we can do that, we need to talk about least common multiples. What's the least common multiple? Well, let's talk about it. So here you go, example number 1. Oh, and if you're curious, for this, you can just put adding and subtracting expressions. If you need a title for your notes, adding and subtracting rational expressions is all you need to put, okay? Example 1, finding least common multiples, otherwise known as LCM. Okay. Least common multiple. All right, so how do we do this? Well, let's talk about it. You have 4x squared minus 36, and you have 6x squared plus 36x plus 54. Okay, here you go. First off, this is one problem. It's just two separate equations. Here we go. Find the LCM. First thing I need to do, I need to factor out my GCF. My GCF on this one is 4. Leaves me with x squared and 9. Okay, so 4, x squared minus 9. Then we come over here, GCF. GCF is 6. What does that leave me with? It leaves me with x squared plus 6x and 9 plus 9. Okay? All right, so we have our GCF again. What now? Now we factor. So I get 4, and then this is a square, and this is a square with a subtraction sign. If you remember from last class, it's a difference of two squares. X minus 3, x plus 3. The other thing we do is we need to break down 4. You can break down 4 in 1 and 4, 2 and 2. I'm going to show you why I'm going to do 2 and 2. So I'm going to break down 4. It's going to be 2 and 2. I'm going to show you why I'm doing 2 and 2. It's because when I come over here to do 6, I can do 2 and 3. Hopefully that makes sense. I can do 2 and 3. So 2, 2, and 2. Makes it super easy. Okay? I'll show you why it makes it easy. Okay? All right, then we factor. Well, square, square, it's addition, sum of two squares. I get x plus 3, x plus 3. Okay, so now we are to the point where we are actually finding the LCM. How do you find the LCM? It's easy. Listen very closely. You look at each individual term and you see how many times it appears in a single expression and you copy it down. So I look at 2. 2 appears twice here and once here. So what's the greatest number of times it appears? 2, because it appeared twice here. I just realized how crooked this is. I'm very sorry. Anyways, so I can put 2 twice because it appeared twice here. And it only appeared once here. I only want the greatest number of times it appeared in a single expression. Okay? So I got my 2's done. I'm going to go here, 3. Does 3 appear anywhere else? It appears once here. Doesn't appear anywhere here. It's 3 by itself. Not the x minus 3, not the x plus 3, 3 by itself. Okay, so the greatest number of times it appears is 3. Okay, x minus 3 appears once in this expression. That doesn't appear over here, so it's just once. X plus 3. Or x minus 3. X minus 3. Okay, what about x plus 3? It appears once here and twice here. So this is x plus 3 squared. Happens twice. Or you could write x plus 3, doesn't really matter. Okay, so now we just simplify. And by simplify, I just mean we just can multiply these three together. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. This is going to be 12 x minus 3 x plus 3 squared. That's your answer. This is your least common multiple. 12 parentheses x minus 3, x plus 3 squared. Okay, so I factor out my GCF. I then factor out everything I can factor out, and I just typically want to do typically do the two numbers that I can get in common the most. Okay, I can get 3 in common the most, so I did 2 and 2 and 2 and 3 for 4 and 6. I factor out my equation or my function, and then I combine whatever I have. I combine every term, the greatest number of times it appears. 2 appeared twice here and once here, so the greatest number of times it appeared, 2. X minus 3 appeared once, so it's the only time I used it. I just used it once. X plus 3 appeared once here, but twice there. So what's the greatest number of times it appeared? Twice. So I put x plus 3 squared, because that happens 2 times. And then the same thing with 3, it only appeared once here, none here, so once. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. We're gonna do one more, and then we're moving on. All right. Okay. 2x minus 6 and 3x minus 9. Okay, GCF first. 2 is x minus 3. And over here, 3 leaves me with x minus 9. All right. Now what do I do? X minus 3. Okay, what do I do? 2 appears 1 time. 3 appears 1 time. X minus 3 appears once and appears once. Greatest number of appearance is once. What does that leave me with? Leaves me with 2 times 3 is 6 and x minus 3. Okay, this is my LCM. Least common multiple. There you go. That's all there is to it. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, check out your book. And let's move on to example number 2. Now that we know what an LCM is, excuse me. Now that we know what an LCM is, you're going to be able to add and subtract. And I'll explain, and you'll see why that is. You might be asking, why can't I add and subtract if I don't know what LCM is? Well, silly goose, you have to. Okay. Example number 2, adding. Here's your example. 1 over x squared plus 5x plus 4 plus 5x over 3x plus 3. So, what do I have to do? Well, the first thing you need to do is you have to factor out your denominators. You need to get those in factored form. So, what are the factors of this? This is going to factor out to 1 over x and x, 1 and 4, 4. And then you come over here and you have 5x over 3 and x plus 1. Okay, so here's my new equation. 1 over x plus 1, x plus 4, plus 5x over 3, x plus 1. So what do you have to do? Well, that's easy. What you have to do is you have to get these to look the same. So how can I make this look like this and this look like this? Okay, you're gonna be like, huh? Multiply the top and the bottom by 3. Come over here. What's this one missing? If this has a 3 and an x plus 1, this has a 3 and x plus 1, this is missing an x plus 4. So now I can multiply this top by x plus 4 over x plus 4. Okay? And from here, you multiply across and then add. So, is going to create, and on the denominator, you want it fully factored as much as you can. In terms of your factored pairs, if you have like 2 and 5, or 2 and 5, you can multiply 2 and 5 and get 10. But in terms of parentheses, you want it, like if there's already a 2 here, and then we multiply both sides by 3, then obviously you multiply those and get 6. But in terms of this, you just leave it alone. So I get 3 times 1, so that becomes 3 over 3x plus 1, x plus 4. Okay, and then you come over here. On top, you get 5x times x is 5x squared plus 20x over, and it's the same thing, 3x plus 1, x plus 4. Okay? And this is the point where we now solve. We just add these together. So if I were to add these together, 5x squared plus 20x. Over here I have a 3, and remember you should write this in standard form, greatest exponent to least exponent, all over 3, x plus 1, x plus 4. That's your answer. 5x squared plus 20x plus 3 over 3x plus 1, x plus 4. So what did we do? First, we factored our denominators. Factored the denominators. Once we were able to factor the denominators, we multiplied them by what the other one had that one didn't. So this one has a 3 and this one doesn't. So I multiply by 3. And I have to multiply the top and the bottom. Over here, I had 3 and x plus 1, and I have an x plus 4. So I multiply both top and bottom by x plus 4. I multiply across. 3 times 1 is 3. 5x times x, 5x plus 4 comes out to 5x squared plus 20x. And the denominators stay in factored form. We're going to do another one. I'm going to show you a time when you do multiply the bottom, but it's nothing special, okay? So, example problem. All right, you have a 3 over 6x plus x plus 4 over 9x squared equals, and now we're solving. So, this one, what I was saying is that I just don't multiply this, like they're one term. I can't just multiply this by whatever this doesn't have. So what you have to do is you have to get your lowest common denominator. Lowest common denominator. So, a question you can ask is, what is my LCD going to be? Lowest common denominator. Okay? Basically, what does the lowest number 6 and 9 both go into? 6 goes into 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, 72, 78, and so on. 9 goes into 9, 18, 27, 36, 54, or 36, 45, 50, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90, 99, yada, 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 108. So, do you notice what I said there? I said 6, 12, 18, 9, 18. So the lowest number they both go into is 18. This has an x and this is an x squared. So the lowest number of x's that this one can get to is x squared. I can't take a 6 away, or an x away. So this is going to be x squared. So my least common denominator is 18x squared. So I need to get both of these to come out to be 16x squared. So my question becomes, what do I have to multiply by this? What do I have to multiply for this one to get to 18x squared? And what do I need to multiply this one by to get to 18x squared? Well, let's find out. What does it take me to get to 6, from 6 to 18? It takes me 3. I need to multiply this by 3. Not only do I need to multiply by 3, I need to multiply by 3x because I need this to get to x squared. So now I can multiply 3x, 3x. Over here, I need to get 9 to 18. Well, that's simply multiplying by 2. I don't need to multiply x's because it's already at x squared. Okay, so what do I get? This becomes 9x. This becomes, well, 2x plus 8. Okay, and now you just combine terms. 9x plus 2x is 11x plus 8. This is all over, what's my lowest common denominator? 18x squared. 11x plus 8. Hold up. 11x plus 8. 3 times 3x. 9. Yeah. Plus 8. I don't know where you get it. That's a misprint. But 11x plus 8. That's all you had to do for that one. Okay? Hold up. 9x plus okay. Sorry. He has 11x plus 18, but that's not correct. It's 11x plus 8. Okay. So you're good. That's what you have to do. That is how you find an LCD. That is how you add. Okay? So, one last thing, subtraction, and then we're done. All right. So, example number 3 is subtraction. Subtracting. Okay. So my original equation is going to be 7y over 5y squared minus 125 minus 2y plus 2 over 3y plus 15. Okay. So, again, what can we do? First thing we're going to do, we need to factor the denominator. So let's factor the denominator. We're going to get, I want a different color. Let's go purple. Purple's a good color. Let's go purple. So, on top, I would get 7y over, factor out of 5, and I'm going to get left with y, well, I'd be left with 5y squared minus 25. But I don't want to do that. I want to factor all the way. I don't want to factor twice. Okay? So, x and x, and this is a square, and this is a square, so this is, again, a difference of 2 squares. So, plus 5 minus 5. Okay? Come over here, I have 2y plus 2, and what I'm left with, oh, I don't need that, is over, factor out a 3, and I get 3y plus 5. Okay? So, now I have to look for my least common multiples. Okay? Or my lowest common denominator. How do I find my lowest common denominator in this? Well, I have an x plus 5 and x plus 5, so we're good there. But this is a 5 and this is a 3, so what's the lowest number that those both go into is 15. 5 goes into 15, 3 goes into 15. That's the lowest number they can both go into. So I know I need to multiply this by a 3. I need to multiply this by a 5. But what else? Because this has an x minus 5. So I mean, I don't have one over here. So I need to multiply this by x minus 5. Okay, now if we look, I should have 3, 5, which is 15, 3 and 5, 15. X plus 5, x plus 5. X minus 5, x minus 5. Okay, so my denominators are now the same. So now, you just multiply. So what I would get is 3 times 7y, which is 21y, over, and this is what I was saying, this is the only time you'd really multiply. 15, x plus 5, x minus 5. That's really the only time you multiply at the end of your, in your numerator, or your denominator. Minus, apparently I need a different blue. Okay, so 21y over 15x, y plus 5, y minus 5, okay? We come over here, and now what I need to do is I need to multiply this. And so I get 5x minus 25, and I have to multiply this, which I wrote here, times this, because now I gotta multiply them together. Okay, I have to multiply the top by the bottom. I have to multiply the top and the bottom by the same thing. So, all you need is FOIL. So, I get, hold up, did I use the wrong, yes. Sorry, this is y. I knew something didn't look quite right. I started with the right thing here. I just, for some reason, changed it. Y. So everything that's an X should be a Y. Sorry about that. That is my bad. Making things hard on you guys. All right, so like I was saying, now I just FOIL them. So 2y times 5y, 10y squared. 2y minus 25 times negative 25 is negative 50y. Positive 10y, negative 50. So what does this come out to be? 10y squared minus 40y minus 50. Okay, so there's my top. So this is 10y squared minus 40y minus 50 over 15 y plus 5 y minus 5. Okay, that should be your answer. 10y squared, well, that should be your equation. 10y squared minus 40y minus 50, and they have the same denominator. Now the last thing is just subtract everything, okay? Remember, you have this and you're subtracting this. So what does that mean? It means I need to distribute this negative to all three terms. So what it would come out to be is 0 minus 10y squared. Negative 10y squared. 21y minus negative 40y. So 21y plus 40y is going to be plus 61y. I'm going to go ahead and erase this so I have room to write. Okay. Negative 10y squared plus 61y, and then 0 minus negative 50 is going to be plus 50. And then it's all over our LCD, our lowest common denominator. 15 y plus 5 y minus 5. This is your final answer. Negative 10y squared plus 61y plus 50 over 15 y plus 5 y minus 5. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. I know I messed up with the x's and y's over here. That is my bad. I apologize. Just completely I get used to always using x as a variable. But yeah, so let me do that little recap I was doing at the end of the problem. So we factor our denominator. We factor, once we have our denominators factored, we then have to multiply to get our lowest common denominator. In this instance, it was 15, y plus 5, y minus 5. Whatever I have to multiply one side by, I have to multiply the top and the bottom by. So I had to multiply this side by 3, so I had to multiply the top by 3 and the bottom by 3. Over here, I multiply both the top and the bottom by 5 and y minus 5, okay? Once I did that, I get my lowest common denominator. I multiply my tops, and then I just do the subtraction or addition. In this case, it's subtraction. So 21y minus, and then this formula, okay? That equation. And that's what you should get. So on this one, that's all we got for notes. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. Come find me on Wednesday or Friday. Ask Ms. Rigby, ask any other math teachers. Look in your book. I can't emphasize enough how much your book can be really helpful if you have questions. It goes through a lot of these step by step. But yeah, that's all I got. If you have any questions, as usual, come find me. Shoot me an email. I usually answer during the day when I was Wichita State, so don't worry about it. But yeah, I'll talk to you later. Peace.